We're going to explore what makes Black Myth Wukong tick and whether it's worth your time. Let's dive into the action, the mechanics, and everything in between to help you decide if this game is for you. Right from the start, you're thrown into the Forest of Wolves, where you'll face wolf-like enemies, a mid-level boss, and eventually a giant wolf creature. Along the way, you'll unlock the ability to transform into one of the monsters, giving you new attacks and skills. It's a wild ride that keeps you on your toes. At one point, an old man with a head like a ginseng root gives you an immobilization spell. This spell can freeze enemies in place, giving you a brief break against more dangerous foes, like the final giant wolf. You'll even get to transform into an insect, flying over enemies' heads. But don't get too comfortable. You won't be able to dodge every fight. To survive, you need to master the basics of combat. Attacks are divided into light and heavy, with the option to charge heavy attacks for stronger blows. But be careful. Stamina drains quickly during attacks, so you'll need to keep an eye on your defense too. Jumping and dodging are key, and if you time your dodges perfectly, you'll get a slow motion effect that lets you pull off extra moves. As you progress, you'll earn points to unlock new skills from a talent tree. You can switch between 3 staff styles, each with its own unique moves. For example, in the pillar style, your character can vault up to the top of the staff and avoid ground-level attacks. But if enemies hit your staff, your stamina takes a hit. Releasing the button unleashes a powerful move that can daze enemies if you time it right. It's a high-risk, high-reward system that makes combat feel incredibly satisfying. You can't just spam attacks and dodge rolls, as both use up your stamina bar. You'll also have a rechargeable health potion, but you have to pause to use it, adding another layer of strategy to each battle. Exploration in Black Myth can be a bit tricky. The levels are incredibly detailed, but it's not always clear which areas you can explore. You might run into invisible walls and dead ends, but the world itself is fascinating. The demo feels more like a boss rush with short sightseeing breaks, but we're told the full game will offer more open exploration with side paths, NPC quests, and hidden secrets. However, don't expect a Dark Souls or Elden Ring vibe. Black Myth Wukong has its own unique atmosphere. Even without any upgrades, the combat in Black Myth Wukong is satisfying, but it takes some getting used to. The dodge feels responsive, but for the perfect dodge, you almost have to dodge right when you're about to get hit. It might feel a bit uncomfortable at first, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes second nature. There's no real parry in the game, it's all about dodging. However, you can twirl your staff to deflect some ranged attacks, like a rapid fire arrow barrage from certain enemies. Light attacks are quick and flow smoothly, with satisfying sound effects, but heavy attacks are a bit misleading. They work differently than you might expect. Instead of a traditional heavy attack, you have charged attacks and combo breakers. Tapping the heavy attack button locks you into a long animation for a swing that doesn't deal much damage. Instead, you should hold the heavy button to build up a charge, then use that charged attack as an opener or gap closer. This creates a great tempo in combat, and a charged attack can take out or heavily stun most basic enemies. Perfectly timed dodges reward you with extra focus. Once your focus bar is full, you earn a focus point, which lets you chain a strong attack into your light combo for a big chunk of damage. Later on, you can spend focus points on special moves that you unlock in the skill tree. Wukong also has access to a variety of spells that consume mana. The Immobilize spell is a game changer. It stops an enemy in their tracks, letting you get in a few free hits before the effect wears off. However, stronger enemies and bosses are less affected by it, and some can shrug it off entirely. One of the first upgrades you'll want to get is the ability to build up a charge while sprinting, similar to the hammer in Monster Hunter. This ability is a core part of your combat strategy. You'll also want to improve the speed and distance of your dodge, reduce the stamina cost of dodging and sprinting, and ensure that dodging doesn't interrupt your light combo. Boss battles are where the game really shines. The bosses are varied, ranging from hulking beasts to nimble spellcasters, each with a distinct rhythm. Some are humanoid, with long weapon combos that require you to dodge repeatedly, while others are giant creatures with devastating area of effect attacks that force you to carefully position yourself. The animations for these bosses are superb, with clear tells that help you figure out when to dodge. Even on your first attempt, you'll start to get a sense of their movements. Some bosses might take several attempts to defeat, but that's part of the challenge and satisfaction of the game. As you play, Wukong becomes more agile and versatile in combat. The game features 3 skill trees, one for spells, one for general benefits, and one for staff fighting styles. You can upgrade your abilities as you see fit, whether that means focusing on passive bonuses or enhancing your staff actions. For example, you can upgrade your light attack range or unlock a combo breaker heavy attack that spends energy points. Energy is accumulated by dealing damage and perfect dodging attacks. You can use energy to instantly charge up an attack, adding a strategic layer to how you manage this resource. You'll also be able to swap between different fighting styles using the D-pad, similar to Ghost of Tsushima. One style lets you use your staff like a totem pole, dodging most melee attacks while sitting calmly at the top. This stance builds up energy over time, which you can then use to unleash powerful slams with greater reach. Customization adds even more depth to your combat strategy. Your staff can be modified with equipable items, though the demo didn't showcase this feature fully. You'll also find armor pieces with stat bonuses and set bonuses, adding more layers to your playstyle. For example, you might find a circlet that lets you heal while sprinting, which can be a lifesaver in tough battles. You'll also unlock spells that allow you to transform into different forms, each with its own unique abilities and health pool. These transformations can be a game changer, letting you absorb damage and deal meaningful hits. The magic system in Black Myth Wukong is another highlight. The first spell you get, Immobilize, freezes enemies in place for a few seconds, giving you a huge advantage. You can freeze a boss, walk behind them, and get in some free hits. This spell feels almost like cheating, but it's incredibly satisfying to use. There are 4 slots for spells, and you'll eventually have to choose which ones to equip. Immobilize is hard to beat, but transformation spells also offer powerful utility. For example, after defeating an early boss, you unlock a spell that lets you assume their form for a limited time, giving you a second health bar and the ability to deal burn damage. The level-up system in Black Myth Wukong is similar to Sekiro's. As you defeat enemies, you gain will, which fills up a bar in the top right of the screen. When the bar is full, you earn a spark, which can be used to purchase upgrades from your skill trees. Once you bank a spark, you can't lose it, even if you die. However, if you die before filling the bar, you lose a portion of your experience, so there's always a risk. Black Myth Wukong is not an easy game. Enemies are aggressive, bosses are relentless, and you only have a few restorative potions to keep yourself alive. But that's what makes it so rewarding. The game's combat is challenging but fair, and the sense of progression as you upgrade your skills and abilities is deeply satisfying. The real star of the show is the boss battles. Each one a unique challenge that tests your skills and strategy. Whether you're facing a speedy wolf boss, a mule-kicking frog, or a two-faced snake man, each fight is a thrilling experience. Black Myth Wukong is a promising action epic with a lot to offer. It's a game that requires patience, skill, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. But if you're up for the challenge, it's definitely worth playing. So, is Black Myth Wukong worth playing? If you're a fan of action RPGs with challenging combat, deep progression, and epic boss battles, then absolutely. The game is packed with content, and its unique take on the genre makes it stand out from the crowd. Whether you're in it for the intense battles, the fascinating world, or the sense of accomplishment from overcoming tough enemies, Black Myth Wukong has something for you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more game reviews. See you next time.